Barak Shalom. This is Nabi Ahaya Eloah Elohim. Melech Boaz ben Yochanan ben Dawid of Yehuda. And this is going to be, I believe, the 5th video for Deuteronomy 28, scriptures not taught in church. And, in my last video, I kind of went into a rant as I reiterated a couple verses that I believe seriously and firmly highlights the plight of the Black American or the Negro American here in America. Now, what I want to do here is I want to read some of the things that are to befall the Hebrews if they were to not follow the commandments. Okay, these are more curses that were to befall the Hebrews if they weren't to follow, if they chose not to follow the commandments. Let me see. Okay, and I would like to say this also. As I read this, I really want you to pay attention to my words and focus on what I'm saying as I'm reading this, and see within your own mind if you can depict any correlation between our Black ancestry here in America with what's being mentioned here in this book, in this Bible. Okay, Deuteronomy 28, and we're at verse 30. And it says, "You will be engaged to a woman, but another man will sleep with her." Didn't they do that to our slave women? Didn't the master do that? Okay, let me keep going. "You will build a house, but someone else will live in it." Now, didn't Michelle Obama herself say that the slaves built the White House? And it took how long for a Black family to be able to actually live in it themselves? Okay, let's keep going. "You will plant a vineyard, but you will never enjoy its fruit. Your ox will be butchered before your eyes, but you will not eat a single bite of it. Your donkey will be taken from you, never to be returned. Your sheep and your goats will be given to your enemies, and no one will be there to help you. You will watch as your sons and daughters are taken away as slaves." Oh my gosh. Do you think that's a part of our history? Do you think that any of our ancestors had to stand there screaming and wailing while their children were being snatched from them? Your heart will break for them, but you won't be able to help them. A foreign nation you have never heard about will eat the crops you work so hard to grow. Now, I think this is where the seed and the spirit of prophecy is really becoming thick and evident. At this point, if you are black, and you say that this Bible ain't real, but you know your Black history, and you know that everything that this chapter or these little few verses that I'm right now talking about is absolute fact, then you're a plain idiot. You're a plain fool. And you just wish not to know where your real power lies. And you wish to choose to be a slave for the rest of your existence. And that's the bottom line. And that's exactly how I feel about that. And you can debate me all you want to. But intelligence begets intelligence only. The only thing that can beget that thing is that thing itself. Just like Christ said, you can't pull figs from a thistle. You can't pull grapes from a fig tree. A fig tree produces figs. A thistle bush produces thorns. A grapevine produces grapes. Okay? So that means intelligence is going to produce intelligence. Ignorance is going to produce ignorance. Ignorance will also produce idiocy. And intelligence will also produce wisdom. So let's be wise together right now. Let's be wise together. See, I didn't even get to finish reading this entire section. All right. But already so many points have jumped out that clearly and evidently prove that we are what this is talking about. You will be engaged to a woman, but another man will sleep with her. You will build a house, but someone else will live in it. You will plant a vineyard, but you will never enjoy its fruit. Your ox will be butchered before your eyes, but you will not eat a single bite of its meat. Your donkey will be taken from you, never to be returned. Your sheep and your goats will be given to your enemies, and no one will be there to help you. You will watch as your sons and daughters are taken away as slaves. Your heart will break for them, but you won't be able to help them. A foreign nation you have never heard about will eat the crops you work so hard to grow. You will suffer under constant oppression and harsh treatment. You will go mad because of all the tragedy you see around you. Yahuwah will cover your knees and legs with incurable boils. In fact, you will be covered from head to foot. Now, this is the interesting thing. If you can pull up some old reports and footage from slavery, from when the slaves first got here, another interesting point is that you will find that a lot of them did end up getting boils from head to toe. They a lot of the first drop-offs, let's call them, a lot of the first drop-offs were heavily infested and infected. I mentioned that in my last video. I said that is the main reason why no one wanted to buy them, because they were disease ridden. The best people could do is just trade them off for something. All right? The best they could do is just trade them off for something. Now, just these 6 verses, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, and 35, have spoken about exactly what blacks went through when they first moved, or not moved, but got brought to America. When those first few got brought to America, when that first 21 to 26 people got brought to America, this is exactly what happened. And you know, that's not hard to disprove. There's documentaries about it. I mean, shoot, the white man, they loved making movies about how they would constantly oppress us niggas and take our women and you know, ain't that the crazy thing? That the white man, they used to come and steal and snatch one of our women right up out the cotton fields, rape her, beat her, and throw her back out in the field, make her work, right? But he was all fine and dandy with it. But let a black man end up having consensual sex with that white woman, and he was a demon. That white woman didn't give that black man, she wasn't consensual when he stole it from her. He raped her. He took her innocence. He abused her. He's a demon and a devil. But the white man wasn't that, right? The white man wasn't that when he was stealing our mothers and our aunts and our grandmothers out the fields so he can bust him a quick little nut. It ain't the same on the flip side. And while I'm on this subject, let me tell you this. It is the white man who started that whole conflict, confusion between black people. And what I mean between black people, I mean between the complexions of black people. When the white man knew that, unfortunately, when he makes a baby with a black person, that baby still comes out black and not white, but that the baby comes out a lot lighter of a black than the rest of the blacks that are out in the field, well, then that's when the whole house nigga situation was generated, because that child was allowed in the house, and so then was that mother, and that mother was brought into the house to be a servant and a maid, and also to look after that nigga child, the little nigger baby. Okay, Now, daddy, you know what I'm saying? Racist redneck, Rexham Coonberg III. Oh, he loves his little nigger baby, but you'll never catch him. You'll never catch him playing with him. You know, with his little white babies. You know, you'll catch him always trying to give the little nigger baby a gift on the side or on a slide or on a sneak. And it was really interesting that eventually that slave master began to realize how intelligent that little nigger baby was. And that's how mulatto black people began to get prestige and a level of position in America. It's because they were able to play off of their light tone. And that was all generated. That was all geared and created by the white man. Simple as that. Well, I mean, in all honesty, do you see white people getting mad at other white people when they're a little bit lighter or a little bit darker? No, you don't. You don't. Now, what you might see a white person hating on another person's tan. Oh my gosh, I wish I could tan like her. But at the same time, she will say this. I mean, her tan is just like so gorgeous. Nah, but niggas don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Niggas don't do that though. They be like, oh, this old light-skinned nigga here. This old dark-skinned nigga here. I'm even guilty of it myself. I have to admit. I'm even guilty of it myself. My two youngest children are light-skinned. And I tell them right to their face, I don't even like light-skinned niggas. But the unfortunate thing is that it's the truth. It's the truth. As I grew up, you know, most of my friends, most of my black friends, if I have to specify that, were light-skinned. I only had a couple dark-skinned friends, you know, friends that were my complexion or my color. The rest of them were all light. And they were all pretty boys, and you know, everybody loved them, and everybody always wanted to be around them. And you know, and that's the kind of environment and energy and demographic that is created and generated around light-skinned black people. But that ideology was created back in the slave days, when the first stolen piece of black booty created a mixed baby. And then the unfortunate thing is that us black people, we allow this generational curse to permeate and perpetuate. Like I said, I have to admit that I'm a culprit. I'm so bad at it that, you know, I've told my children this so often that my youngest son, he steps into my face, he says, you know what, I don't even like dark-skinned niggas. You know, now to him it might be a joke. To him, you know, he might not necessarily understand what I'm talking about, where I'm coming from. And, you know, it's just little fun and games between me and him. But if he goes out in the world and says that to someone else, somebody's going to take that seriously. And they're going to expect that he's being serious because he's light-skinned. So I'm already teaching my children wrong. And this is a generational curse, people. This has been passed down to us. I got way too far into this. I'm going to catch you guys on the next video. Baruch and Shalom.